CarlosAlexis Cruz, thanks for joining me on the Biscuit Blitz, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, listen, I'm going to tee you up with a first question, and then we'll start the clock and we'll spend 5 minutes diving a little deeper. But first and foremost, tell our viewers who you are, how long you've been in Charlotte, and what it is you do.
So my name is CarlosAlexis Cruz. I've been in Charlotte for about 7 years now. I'm the associate professor of physical theater at UNCC Charlotte, and I'm a physical theater researcher, and I'm the producing artistic director of the Nouveau Sud project, our social circus company here in Charlotte.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to start the clock, and we will dive in. And let's start with Nouveau Sud, because that is the project and the organization that you've become so well known for in Charlotte. Now, in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, how is your organization and your projects sort of evolving in the midst of this crisis?
Yeah, it's very interesting, and we actually have a meeting later today. We've been trying individually. We all have been trying to work out and keep active. We're a circus company, so it's hard to. It would be terrible to take a pause because the body has a rhythm, and to recuperate that rhythm would be harder than anything else, I think. But the other thing is when we do partner stuff, it's hard. I tell people, like, I'm not performing with them as much. I'm mainly doing the artistic direction of it. But if I was performing and lifting people up, I only have my daughters here that weigh like 40 pounds each, and lift like a 140-pound person is a little different. You actually need the other person. So we are really, really itching to be back in the studio. But I think as a company, we understand the terrible situation in which the country is, and we want to do everything that we can to assure that we feel safe.
Yeah.
Having that said, this has been a very sort of like we go through all the emotions as everybody, probably in these roller coasters of hope and inspiration and just like playing anxiety in general. Yeah. But I think as of now, I feel that we still have momentum and we have the focus to our next piece. But we're also understanding that our next piece will have to somehow reflect to this new reality. I mean, we do social circus. We talk about social issues within, with the acrobatic language. So in our next show being theme about immigration, we want to talk about now, what's happening now with this anti-immigration sort of policy coming in and prohibiting what kind of impact that would have. We are kind of paying key attention to that.
Well, you and your performers at Nouveau Sud, I mean, part of why you exist is to use dance and acrobatics and physical theater to really create conversations around other cultures and being connected and things like that. And of course, what we're seeing is in the midst of the crisis is sort of a reemergence of more prejudice and racism and xenophobia and things like that. Obviously, it seems like that's going to be a part of whatever project comes out of this for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things that I think make us proud is that we try to answer to a lack of diversity in general with the troupe, and the troupe itself of acrobats, because the acrobatic language exists within all cultures. I think it is truly diverse in nature. There's people of all races and backgrounds, social, economical, all those layers in. So I think from that, we bring a lot to the conversation in that matter. And we always say at the beginning of our shows that we try to create community with the performance event. And I do feel like more than ever, the sense of community, even though this has been great, communicating and social distancing sort of setup, I think we'll be so ready to actually be in close with each other, kind of witnessing something at the same time. And I think circus arts can be very powerful in that way.
No doubt. Well, talk to me about you personally. How are you staying personally connected and creative, and how are you coping?
So, this has been very lovely to be with my family and taking a pause in such a hectic life that an artist we're always doing. But it has also been pretty tough not to be in the studio and being creative that way. having that said, we barely get a chance to actually pause and research and be inspired by others and listen and see different presentations from all across the globe. And my artistic inquiries have been like really well fed, I think, in this period, actually observing very historical processes from different companies. And I don't know, I feel more inspired than ever on how connected we are to the circus community at large, but also kind of the aesthetic that we want to continue to push forward with Nouveau Sud.
Well, in our final 30 seconds, could you tell us maybe a way that we can support you or your organization while we're all in this situation together?
I think following us on social media, Nouveau Sud, on Instagram and on Twitter and Facebook would be great, because I think we are communicating not only what we're doing acrobatically or in terms of circus, but we're in terms of like our research for social issues. So engaging in conversation that way can really help us continue to grow.
And I will back that up too, because you're also doing profiles of your company members, and those are awesome. Them showing them doing their handstands and juggling and everything else that they do. It's really remarkable. So follow them on social media. Carlos Alexis, thank you so much for spending 5 minutes with me.
Yeah, that was quick. Thanks.
Be well.
Yeah.